Alrighty, what's up, everybody? We are back with some more Higurashi as always, and yeah. Uh, so what I'm thinking is again, because like the chapters seem to be getting quite long, so what I may do, I mean, depending on how long the chapters are, I may do like 1 or 2 chapters at a time. Because previously I could do like 3 chapters or something like that, no problem, right? But then I was like first game, and then it was like short. But then like chapter 1 for this game is like 2 hours something. So I'm thinking to do 2 hours, like 2 chapters, that'd be like what, like maybe 4 hours, 5 hours. I mean, I'm down. It's just may take like a break in between them. Because I get hungry. Not gonna lie, I not really ate much today. I had like some waffles in the morning. That was about it. But yeah. Was there anything else I was thinking of? Not particularly. But yeah. So let's see, what had happened last time is we're back in Hinamizawa with everybody. And then we started a what's it called? Like club activity contest of like who can make like the best bento. And so we tried to cook and it did not go so great. And we got saved by the lollies. So yeah. And then we learned a little bit more about the whatever the fuck, Satoshi. That's his name. That's his name. I could not remember his fucking name for the life of me for whatever reason. But yeah. And so seems kind of confusing because apparently he had run away. And when in like the prior games, he like I'm pretty sure that's just like what she thinks or something like that. Like he either like seems to be either he's transferred out, he got demoned away, and now he's run away. Who knows, right? So maybe we'll be finding out about it in this time around. But yeah, anyways, sorry for long intro shit. Let's just hop back into it. Have some fun. Also potential, as always, with this potential ear warning. I don't know how loud I can get, so yeah. Also, is it up? There we go. Okay. Anyway, lunchtime has finally arrived. Mion gleefully announced the beginning of lunch. Ho 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 ho! Lunchtime at last! Someone here will have to play the punishment game, yes? Oh, the punishment this time, it's a little scary, so... Sorry, but Lena went all out on making her bento. And in this case, I don't think she'd lose, even if she wasn't taking it seriously. We tried our hardest too. Satsuko and Rika-chan made separate lunches today? Usually you have the same bento, but that won't do for the showdown today, will it? Yeah, it's quite alright. Rika and I made sure to make separate ones. Wow, Satsuko and Rika-chan both tried really hard. How exciting! What's a little surprising is Kei-chan was able to make a bento. Good job, Kei-chan. It looks like you really can do it if you try. I scratched my head and gave her a dry smile. My bento today had been made entirely by Satsuko last night. It had none of my personality, so there wasn't anything that they could praise me for. What does Keiichi-kun's bento look like? Oh, I can't wait to see. Don't expect too much. It's just leftover rice and side dishes from last night. Leftovers are the foundation of bentos. Oh, now we'll know your dinner last night too. We'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Was it really better to hide the fact that Satsuko came over and made dinner last night? I mean, of course it is. Why not? If I revealed that, if I revealed that I didn't make my own bento, I'd be sure to end up playing the punishment game. Today's punishment game was to stand right in front of the curry maniac, Chie-sensei, and say bad things about curry. Don't sound like too much fun, does it? I wouldn't say so. It wasn't too different from telling someone to jump out of a 100th story window. It was exactly the same as someone it was exactly the same as telling someone to die. But Mii-chan, how will we decide who wins and loses the bento showdown? Keiichi-kun made his own too, so maybe we should call it a draw for today? We could do that. The punishment game yesterday was sort of a whip to encourage Keiichi-san to cook for himself after all. And Keiichi made his own too, so it's a draw. A simple bento with last night's leftovers could never have stood up to everyone else's bento that they made to win. I fully understood Satsuko and Rika-chan's concern for me as they tried to end the showdown peaceably. However, the club president Mion Sonozaki would not be convinced by something like that. I wonder why you're all so optimistic. Leaving one of our showdowns in such a gray area is out of the question. Now that we've clashed, we must settle the score. Reconciling with the draw only happens in the Yakuza world. I knew you'd say that. There's no way you didn't do it that way with your battle lust. This was bad. At this rate, I was sure to be the sole loser. But, well, I didn't make this battle after all. Or bento, after all. Maybe, just maybe I need to resign myself to my inevitable loss. Okay, me. How are we going to decide who wins? It won't be fair if we grade each other's. Let's do an open judgment. Okay, everyone. Assemble! Mion commanded everyone who had just started eating, using her club president voice. Come and judge our five bento. Write your favorite 3 on a piece of paper and submit it. Understand? Everyone in the class was used to being dragged into Mion's club activities. Yeah! Came the energetic voices from here and there. Everyone already knew that the showdown this time involved an utterly fatal punishment game, and they were all very interested in what would happen to whoever lost. Of course, they wanted the thrill of seeing something terrifying. Alright, everyone ready? Then I'll go first, alright? Ta-da! In exaggerated fashion, Mion pulled the lid off her multi-tiered ornate bento box. Multiple cheers of joy erupted at the brilliant sight. That's amazing! It's just like New Year's food. It can't be. It has to be a lie. She must have switched the contents with a catered bento. Such purely Japanese cooking. Mion Sonozaki couldn't possibly make this. No, this is easy for Mii-chan if she gets serious. She almost never gets serious, though. Just who do you think this old man is? Given enough time and ingredients, I could even reproduce the Manchu Han Imperial Feast. The entire classroom gulped audibly, and everyone wrote down a score on the notepaper in their hands simultaneously. It made sense. Just a visual impact would give her a perfect score. Alright, let's see who Rena's next. Rena's really good at cooking too. Rena's bento is always like a flower arrangement. Thanks everyone. I'll review my bento now. Hey! Rena's bento was a beautiful mix of the two colors of eggs and minced meat, and it too was a bento staple. The Soboro bento. She had been through with the side dishes as well, or thorough, and they were abundant in number. She had spent more time than usual on it, but it was unamusing and truly nonchalant. One couldn't ignore the household warmth in it that Mion's bento lacked. If I may say, you've done it again? This should get quite high scores. I should have known. It may look rigid, but there isn't anything to deduct points from. Amazing as always. Once again, every one of the judge wrote a score on their note paper at the same time. There seemed to be some who were revising their opinions when they compared it to Mion's score too. The whole classroom seemed split between Mion and Erdena. And on everyone's faces it was clear that they all wanted to be tasting them rather than scoring them. Why did I leave this till now? Because now I'm just hungry. Just fucking get myself even more hungry. Then it will be next. Yes. I will now reveal mine. Come to think of it, Satoko and Rika-chan ate with me last night at my house. It was impressive that they still made a bento. Both their bentos were clearly lacking compared to Mion's artfulness and Rena's perfection. Shit. Something was in my fucking throat. Both their bentos were clearly lacking compared to Mion's artfulness and Rena's perfection. However, because of that, you could sense from them how hard they worked. The toppings were a little on the rough side, but you could still feel that they tried their hardest. It made you feel a little biased, so that you'd give them more points. A few people struck by just that once again revised their opinions and wrote in scores on their note paper. And wrote in scores. Satoko, Rika-chan, you both made really good bentos today. They might not even measure up to Rena or Mion's craftsmanship, but when you think about that, they're pretty amazing. Satoko and Rika-chan glanced at each other and grinned happily. This is a secret, okay? Mutter, mutter. Huh? What? When Satoko told me, I broke off from the others and secretly looked for my classmates' bento boxes. There, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun's bento boxes. I took a quick peek inside and... half of the contents were missing! Not bad. In the end, Satoko and Rika-chan hadn't made bento today. A bold move. They got Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun to share their bentos with them. Hey, Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, how did they buy you out? What are you saying, Maibara-san? When did you get bought out, and what for what? That's right. It's not like we traded with them our duty watering the garden for half our bento. Curse you, Satoko. What an impudent trick. Satoko grinned, showing her fang-like canines, and laughed in triumph. Ho 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 ho! Oh, this is only something I learned from you, Keiichi-san. Ho 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 ho! Yes! Ho 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 ho! How naive. Buying them out with watering duty alone. They're men. If you're going to buy them out, you need to use something a lot spicier than that. For example, giving them 3 tickets to walk Satoko and Rika-chan around like dogs all day? And then with them all on 4s, wearing tails, and with leashes around their neck? Oh, that might be enough to get me to do anything. Same. As I was lost in my wild fantasies, Mion clapped me on the shoulder and called me back to reality. Damn, I was just getting good, too. Alright, next up is Kei-chan's bento. We're all hoping for something pretty great because of your declaration yesterday, but how did it really turn out? Keiichi can do it if he needs to. Then it was really excited for today. Ugh, they're all looking forward to it, but it's really just leftovers from dinner last night. I didn't even make it either. How is that supposed to stand up to Mion's and Rena's and the others? Ah, that's it! Feast your eyes on this! Ha! I tore the lid off my bento box. There wasn't very many cheers. Well, I guess there wouldn't be. Keiichi-kun, you tried your hardest too. Then they could tell how hard you worked. Rena, don't feel like you need to compliment me. How did this happen? Was Keiichi-san actually a hard worker after all? Well, I mean, I want to acknowledge how hard he tried, but for this showdown, it doesn't matter. Mion's cold, mean laugh. It was like it spoke for everyone's opinion. Just like that. Keiichi-kun did really well considering it was his first challenge, you know? I think maybe everyone should rate his a little higher. But for the showdown, it doesn't matter. Alright, Kei-chan. If you have any last words before we tally up the results, I'll listen to them now. What do you mean by last words? I mean that you might be hoping for a few extra points if you appeal somehow to the crowd. Huh? After all, for today's showdown, you just need to avoid coming in last. If you do well enough, then maybe you'll be able to worm out of the punishment game. Oh, you are implying that Keiichi-san's bento is going to take last place, aren't you? Nah, this old man wasn't trying to say anyone's bento came in last or anything. Mion cackled repulsively. In contrast, Sataka's smile is growing somehow awkward. Oh, right. This bento was filled with last night's side dishes. That means it was basically a bento that Satoko made. And Mion outright said it would be coming dead last. Mi-chan, aren't you being a little mean? Poor Keiichi-kun. Rena. Kei-chan knew he couldn't lose today's bento showdown beforehand, didn't he? He did all that grandstanding yesterday, well aware of that. I don't think there's any reason to go easy on him, do you? She got a point. Right, Satoko? Yes. You're right. And he came here with this mess. It makes me laugh. Wait, Satoko-chan. You can't laugh at him. But that bento is just so ridiculous. I can't help but laugh. These side dishes look like they were bought by from a shop. It's really disillusioning. Look, this one was just taken out of a can, wasn't it? This cucumber here isn't cut cleanly, like the knife didn't go all the way through. Kei-chan, you never used a knife, did you? Your lack of experience is apparent. No, this goes beyond a simple lack of experience. The presentation is fairly monotonous as well. It's almost a shock to see such a lack of taste. It was my first experience putting food into a bento box, so of course it's not going to look too good. Kei-chan. There's a bigger problem than how you put it into a box. Tobita-kun, Okamura-kun. Explain, please. Tobita-kun and Okamura-kun were chosen from our many underclassmen. Tobita-kun quickly adjusted his glasses and took a step forward. The fatal flaw in Mayabata's bento is the coloration. As you know, there are 3 primary colors forming the basis of all colors, so if you want a well-balanced color scheme, then excluding white and black, you'll need those 3 colors. And nevertheless, if you remove the white and black from my Abada-san's bento, all that would be left is dark green. Ah, dark green. No one will want to eat it if you describe it like that. I had forgotten. Tobita-kun and Okamura-kun had been bought out by Rika-chan and Satoko, so they were trying their hardest to let them win and make me lose, weren't they? Gah, what strong will they have. What strong wills they've got. It was charming if only because they were working so hard despite having been bought out. The side dishes have no spirit in them, either. They're all pre-packaged or canned food. In other words, out of the 3 necessary requirements for a bento, love, spirit, and taste, we can assert that my Abada-san's bento is lacking 2 of these. The classroom, convinced by the elucidation of the mystery that they were thoroughly baffled with, raised mysterious groans of admiration. Cuckoo. No heart and no spirit. It's decided then. Keiichi Maebara. This may sound cold, but if you realize how much fun cooking is because of all this, Keiichi, isn't that enough? Enough? In any case, everything is fine as long as I'm not doing the punishment game. Rina was giving a dry smile as well. Oh, it's been settled, Keiichi-san. You're going to be the one doing the punishment game. She laughed in such a vile manner, but she didn't look like she meant it. I knew that Satoko was speaking ill of a bento that she'd practically made herself, in front of the whole classroom. I could tell how painful that laughter was. Okamura-kun said before that this bento lacked spirit, but among all the bento laid out here today, there wasn't a single one with as much spirit as this one. This meal that she made for me yesterday in such a good mood, though it looked like she was in a bad one, I won't let it end with this slander. Well then, last place Keiichi-san? Please admit your honest defeat already. Could you just wait a moment? And I began to speak in a low voice. The expressions of all the members of the club changed. Mion clicked her tongue. This man was baring his fangs at the last moment again. My bento was defeated because it lacked spirit. That's how you explained it. Am I wrong, Okamura-kun? Okamura, who had suddenly been placed in the spotlight, looked flustered for a moment, but immediately he stammered and replied that I was right. How do you measure spirit? By difficulty? By effort? By sweat or tears? By its manifestation? Then, how would you rate these burns that are still on my hands? Wow, Keiichi-kun, those are oil burns? Great. The burns from when I almost caused a fire yesterday looked like I was having a ton of trouble cooking. I could clearly tell that the classroom was forced to acknowledge the effort I put into it. I see. To turn your failures at cooking due to lack of skill into scars of hard work instead. As I thought, I cannot falter around this man. That's right. I lack skill. I'm so bad at cooking that my grandstanding yesterday was pitiful. But I didn't run away. I fought, and I delivered these results. Is that not spirit? What do you think? Rena wants to acknowledge it. Nobody can keep on going if their defiant spirit doesn't get valued. The girls in the class started to nod in agreement. Okay, the tables are turning. Let's go. But Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun, bought out by the objects of their unrequited affection, weren't about to lose either. They shifted to the counter-attack, clearly exceeding the price they were paid. I see. I understand your feelings, Maebara-san. However, if spirit was all that mattered in cooking, the world wouldn't need chefs. That's right. If a chef brought you burned steak and said to put their spirit into it, and tried hard, would you pay them? You wouldn't, would you? It's the same thing. That's right. It's how it goes. The male students took Tomita-kun's and Okamura's side. Gah, they did have a point. What about consideration? Even if you did get a total black steak. If I knew how much the mother who made it struggled, I would eat it. I would eat it all. This time, the female students in the class took my side. Good. Now we're even. Besides, a bento is a refinement of one's love given form. It only means something when the other person feels that way. Does your bento make us feel that way, my Bada-san? No, it doesn't make me feel that way at all! You're mean! The girls in the class began to boo loudly at his remark. Now even Okamoto-kun was panicking. Order! Will the spectators please refrain from making remarks? Your Honor! In order to prove how much of my spirit has gone into this bento, I call Mr. Dugus Rodina, an authority in the culinary arts, to the stand. Rodina thinks the bento has spirit in it. It might be rather artless in places, but I think cooking isn't just about outward appearances. The girls in the class again gave cries of support as they all applauded. In response, all the men in the class began to boo. Your Honor, the opinions of Mayabata-san and Rudugu-san are extremely sentimental and aren't in following with common sense. They are unsuitable to use as evidence. Order! The prosecution objection is sustained. Go ahead. Ahem. Let's replace the bento in question with a birthday present, for example. Let's say on my birthday, I, Tomita, receive a hand-knitted sweater. And he, Okamoto, received a bookstore gift certificate for 10,000 yen. That felt strangely real. Was it actually just an example? Common sense dictates which of them has spirit. It is, of course, the hand-knitted sweater. If we went back to the bento, this would be handmade side dishes. And the gift card certificate, which is nothing more than money, allows you to buy things. In other words, it's the same as simple, meaningless canned goods. The boys and girls all began to argue amongst themselves about presents. They were all talking about what they received as presents in the past. Damn. Tomita-kun, he changed the subject to something that could easily grab everyone's attention. Not bad. I'll lose the initiative at this rate. Objection! This matter regards the spirits put into the bento. It is entirely different from birthday presents as they are each unique situations. Overruled. Will the prosecution please continue? Damn. Now then, what's important here is the fact that the spirit of the giver and spirit of the receiver are totally different. Between the handmade sweater that looks like a little bit askew and the 10,000 yen bookstore gift certificate placed here before your very eyes, which would you say is the better choice? This is a certificate, right? It's 10,000 yen. 10,000! Can you calculate how much comic books you could buy with that? You could instantly complete a full collection if it was around 10 volumes long. Dozens of happy, humorous, slightly perverted manga. The bliss of your soothed heart can't be compared to this sweater. The boys unanimously praised that with applause. Materialistic brats. Ugh. But all the guys that age are like that. Even I would choose the gift certificate over the sweater in that case. Hey, wait. Weren't you guys the ones who said that it was about love, spirit, and taste right at the start? Since when did the taste trump all? That's the stance they were taking now. I believe this has demonstrated that the spirit of the giver and the spirit of the receiver have no casual relationship. Yes! No matter how much Mayabata-san struggled to make this bento, that cannot enter into consideration for the rest of us on the receiving end. Mere sophistry? Tomita-kun. It has plenty of spirit. Whether that gets through or not is the receiver's problem. That's right! Boo! The taste is important! Enemy of women! Whoa, is that ugly? What the fuck is going on? It's gone out to all-out war. The courtroom is in chaos. But I cannot allow myself to lose. And not only to avoid the punishment game, but also to protect Satoko's honor. Now then, do the defendants have a response to give? Slowly and strongly I nod, and step up to Dais? Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun. Do you two really think you can beat me? With mere words? The prosecution just said that we should value the gifts without basing it off the spirit of the giver. Correct? At some point, I began speaking formally. Yes, that's right. No matter how much you labor to make that bento, that labor should not factor into our grading. Then I have a question for the prosecution. If I, Marabara, were to take the bento I made for today and place it beside one bought from the store, would both of these be given the same score? The prosecution hesitated to speak. Gotcha! That's right! A convenience store bento doesn't even come close to a handmade one. No matter how badly it is, it has far more spirit than the bento that you just bought would ever have. You see, that spirit is being graded, meaning the spirit the cook put into the bento has already reached the recipients. Admit it! Fucking love this shit. Boom! Mic drop. With those impactful words drawn in the air behind me, I point my finger. The girls, led by Rina, broke into applause. Some of the boys were admitting it too. I'll admit it. You admitted it? You admitted it, right? Then let's move to why a convenience store bento has no spirit in it. What exactly is the spirit of the bento in the first place? Objection! Marabara-san is trying to deceive the court by using abstract expressions. Objection overruled. This sounds interesting, so listen until he's done. Got him. Now I'll show you two the difference between us. Your Honor, I'd like to call Mr. Rika Furude to the stand as a witness. Me. Even for Rika-chan, that must have seemed like a bolt out of the blue. There's no doubt that she never dreamed the point of my spear would be aiming at her. But Rika-chan, you said it before. For this showdown, it doesn't matter. Rika Furude-san, your bento today was very well made. It looks delicious. Me? Yes. Satoko and Rika-chan's bentos had been made of half of Tomita-kun's and Okamura's-kun. The prosecutor's faces turned pale, but they were too late. Rina, will you bring Okamura-kun's bento over here? Huh? Okay, sure. Your Honor, my bento has no relevance to this case. Overruled. Your Honor, I submit Okamura-kun's bento box as evidence. Look at it. Look at what's inside. There's only half in there. It's not about whether there's half. Please, look a little more closely. See? Ah! They're exactly the same! Your Honor, you've seen it. Mr. Rika Furude's bento is stolen from Okamura's-kun's. There's no way such a thing could have spirit in it. No, but that's just a coincidence. It's already obvious. Spirit. It's a game of catch between the giver and the receiver. The bento box, then, is the ball. That bento has something Okamura-kun was given, from mother to son. That means Okamura-kun is the only one who can feel the spirit from this bento box. Now that it's been disturbed and been stolen, it no longer has that spirit. Dun dun dun! Yay! That did it. Huh? What? Is that true? Rika-chan, is that true? Pa? I see how it is. Mion the judge folded their arms and began to hum. I couldn't even take a guess as to what Mion was laughing about. Frankly, I didn't know whether I'd win or lose. Okay. Before announcing my judgment, I'll start from the top. Shh. The entire class went quiet. Alright, everyone shut up, everyone shut up. First, from an objective standpoint, there is no doubt that the bento of the accused, Keiichi Marabara, must be seen as poorly made. This is something that the grading results clearly display. Gah. But, as Kei-chan said, cooking is not all about taste. The spirits put into it should be considered subtle seasoning. For grading, though, that would only amount to a few points. It's so subtle that it's not enough to alter the results. Ugh. Now then, I'd like to mention the original reason for today's bento showdown. What was the reason for it? That's right. We started to see whether the accused, Keiichi Marabata, could cook for himself, and to measure the result. Yeah, that's right. Keiichi-kun did make his own bento. Ugh. That stung my consciousness a bit. Or conscience a bit. But for the showdown, it didn't matter. So, the whole basis behind this showdown was to cook a meal for yourself. In other words, whether or not the meal was homemade. Rika-chan neglected to do that. Rika-chan neglecting to do that is a much bigger problem than how good her bento is. In other words, is she disqualified? Nipa! Rika-chan let out a nipa, looking as though she had prepared herself for this outcome. Don't take it personally, Rika-chan. At our club, things like that don't matter. Keiichi did well, like I thought. You tried your hardest until the very end. Rika-chan demanded I lower my head. Then she pet it. With that over with, this case is closed. Today, last place goes to Rika for the day. Whoa! That miraculous turnaround. And last place went to Rika-chan, the one everyone had least expected. The whole classroom went wild. I'm amazed you managed to avoid coming in last place with such a terrible bento. Satoko looked at me hatefully, but spoke in a vague kind of voice. There's no way I'd come in last place. There's nothing in this bento that would deserve last. But it's got ready-made dishes and canned goods, and has no style and grab. Satoko was speaking more and more poorly of herself as time went on, so I roughly grabbed her head and began to stroke it. I told you, spirit is important. This bento isn't all about appearances. It's got all kinds of flavor in it. But spirit isn't the only thing. It tastes totally weird, and what about it is weird? I thought it was great. It was absolutely great. That's why I packed it. If dinner last night had been bad, then I would never have brought it to school. I would have come here with some bread and a milk carton. Aw, this is fucking adorable. Aw. But... I'll just shut up already. I caressed her head, swinging it from side to side. At some point, Rina had come up behind us. She was giggling to herself. That was the face of someone who had known everything from the beginning. When did you realize I hadn't made it? When you showed us your burns, I guess? I mean, there's nothing in your bento that you needed the oil for. Rina-san, don't you think you are misunderstanding something? I didn't do anything. Huh? Satoko-chan, you weren't the one who made this bento. Then did Keiichi make it by himself after all? Okay. Then I guess he did. Rina smiled roguishly and turned from Satoko to me. When you cut cucumbers, you hold the knife like this and go like this. As for the colors, you can express all sorts of things if you place vegetables in the right way. This lecture was clearly not meant for me. But you've gotten a lot better since the last time you showed us. I've seen you've been studying. If you keep this up, I bet you'll be able to make better and better dishes in no time. She continued saying words clearly meant for Satoko while facing me instead. Satoko was wearing an ambiguous look and couldn't even nod her head at it. Or not. Whatever. Anyway, no matter what anyone says, I like the way my bento is today. I'm not going to share it with anyone else either. I'll eat the whole thing by myself, Wow, how greedy. Linda wants to try some too. As we're going back and forth, Satoko rubbed her eyes as though she was drowsy, then announced to Mion and everyone else. Excuse me, the truth is, I got Tomita-kun to give me some of his bento. Stupid! Hojo, what are you saying? If she'd kept it a secret, then at least she would have been saved. Tomita-kun looked at her with an expression filled with regret and surprise. Huh? Is that true? Really? Oh my! Mion spun her finger around, then pointed to the hallway, sentencing Satoko to the punishment game as well. Satoko left the classroom behind her, completely prepared as though she was going with Rika-chan on an errand. I can't let Rika go alone. I will accompany her to the very depths of hell. You don't need to go that far. My word, Keiichi-san really is terrible too. Humiliating only Rika like that. He is truly a rotten person. I didn't mean... I couldn't just return Satoko's kindness with malice. Hey? Satoko, really, it's silly. Or Satoko really is silly. Oh shit, I missed it. Rika-chan spoke so that only I could hear, grinning happily. Oh. Whatever. Now then, let us be off, Rika. Punishment games are one of our duties as club members. Satoko seemed awfully happy, not frustrated in the slightest, like she always was when she lost. God damn. I can't read. Damn. Rika-chan's right after all. Everyone here is a moron. Mion, I'll come clean too. I didn't make my bento today. I was the same, so I'm going with them. For the punishment game. Huh? Even Yuke-chan? What's going on? Good luck. With the punishment game, I mean. I'll get the first aid kit ready. Call an ambulance in advance, will ya? And maybe a hearse, just in case. Leaving a bewildered Mion and a happily smiling Ordena behind in the classroom, I went to the hallway. Yes, we gotta protect! Be the meat shield for the lollies! We must protect. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have a snack real fast, hold up. God, that just made me hungry. Anyways. What are you doing? You finally won for once. I had no idea you were such an odd taste for these punishment games that you'd go so far as to volunteer yourself for one. I guess so. It's a little much of a hobby, hey? Or it's a little much for a hobby, eh? I swear, I think you're underestimating this one. We're one thing, but grave harm might actually befall you, Keiichi-san. I hope you're ready to have 1 or 2 ribs broken. That sounds like it might hurt. I don't like getting hurt. Keiichi-san, you just stand there and nod along, okay? Rika and I will smooth it over. I swear. I can't believe I have to look after you even during a punishment game. Seriously. I already knew that her patty behavior was a sign that she was actually in a really good mood. So it made me want to smile. Hey, I do want to eat some vegetable stir-fry, Satoko. Can you make that? What? Well, there's nothing I can't do if I put my mind to it. She can make it very well. I really like Satoko's stir fry. She was uneasy at first, but once she got assurance from Rika-san, she turned back and looked at me with once more confident eyes. Hold up. Sitting. I need to, like, stay all, like, warm, because it is still fucking freezing. It's settled then. Let's go shopping for stuff after school today. I don't really have any idea what to buy, after all. That is true, isn't it? I think it's still too early for you to go shopping at the supermarket, Keiichi-san. It would make me anxious if I wasn't watching. Oh, that was us on the top line. Whoops. And Satoko makes me anxious that she'll buy the wrong thing if I'm not watching. Rika! Meep. The conversation continued as we walked, until we arrived before the door to the teacher's lounge. Okay. Let's get this punishment game over with and discuss the menu for tonight. Me. I prefer the Nipa. I feel like I can do that one okay. Rika-chan gleefully grabbed onto my arm. In turn, I pulled Satoko to me, grabbing her shoulder with my other hand. We'll all be together in death. I won't let anyone die alone. We're all going together. I won't let anybody die alone. What an indiscreet thing to say. I want no part of something that is so disturbing. She may have sounded annoyed, but she was so happy it was going to make me blush. I mean, that's what a fucking Cinderella does, eh? Eh? Alright. Just beyond this door is the world after death. However, we shall return. All of us will. Yes, everyone will. Then, let us sally forth. Slam. We opened the doorway to the world of death. And like she did every day, she was just as the sun rose in the eastern sky. She ate since it was eating curry for lunch. It was store-bought, but she made a point of eating a different brand every day. Oh my Barakun, Furude-san, and Hojo-san. Is something the matter? She appeared to be in the middle of a moment of supreme bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. And we were to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, it is what we had to do. For that was the rule of our club. The three of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more. Alright, let's do this. Ready? What do you mean, ready? Keiichi-san, you're going to stay quiet. Rika and I will handle everything. And trust your life to me for now. Go for it, yay! What are y'all doing? We could see 2 or 3 question marks popping up above the teacher's head. Alright, Satoko. This is the only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll probably be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. I'm leaving it to you. Satoko inhaled deeply. And so? Hey, you over there! Your curry I like how it's fucking simple. Your curry, fucking word, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't witty enough to come up with something on the spot like that. Did they die? In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Satoko muttered complaints under her breath, quite merrily, she came with me to the store. Rika-chan didn't come with us. She said she had a thing she wanted to do or something. I believed her when she told me, but when I really thought about it, I started to think maybe she was being considerate towards Satoko in her own way. Without Rika-chan here, Satoko was prouder and more, loquacious than ever? The fuck is that word? talking or tending to talk much or freely. Talkative, chattering, babbling. Loquacious. How the fuck can you say that? Hold on. Oh, I was saying it right. Loquacious. Okay. Cool. Yeah, these games, like, you fucking learn new words every fucking time you play. I love it. I love it. Anyways. Do you understand? Supermarkets will put things on sale when it goes near closing time. For example, you can't have a stir fry without some pork, and if we wait a little longer, it'll be marked half off. They can't sell meat or fish once it's not fresh anymore. So they'll make it all cheaper in the last-ditch effort not to have anything left over. Of course, every veteran housewife is familiar with this concept, and when we get close to happy hour like we are now, and I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me all this quite proudly. Every time I seemed surprised at something, or made an affirmative groan in place of conversation, Satoko would say, "You don't know anything, do you, Keiichi-san?" and smiled very happily, in spite of her complaints. She led me by the hand to all sorts of stalls, one after another. Oh, we were holding her hand? Hell yeah. How lewd. Oh, sorry. How you're holding her hand? How lewd. You're out in public? See, she was in such a supreme mood. Just being with her cheered me up. Merely being pulled into Satoko's pace was a lot of fun. Hey, why don't we just go with this economy-sized pack? Whoa, there's a real good-looking one with cheese in it all over. Or fuck, whatever. If y'all are watching, you can read along. You can read through my poorly fucking spoken outright words. God damn it. Keiichi-san, you have no financial sense. Look at this. It's over our budget. We don't have enough money. Satoko pushed a handful of receipts in my face. Pff. Why can't Satoko do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school? Drat. Should we buy a load of the normal ones, or buy fewer of the better stuff with the cheese in it? This is quite troubling. Calm down. For boys at your age, it's wiser to choose quantity over quality. Ugh, Satoko, you're being too strict. A man's heart desires both quality and quantity. Why can't you understand that? No matter the size of a man's heart, his wallet won't be any bigger. I swear. Hey, stop clinging to stop clinging to the glass so stubbornly. After enjoying ourselves in such an exchange, we started to hear energetic voices coming from by the butcher we visited earlier. I could see a handful of housewives flooding the place. Oh no! If we don't hurry, all the half-off pork will be gone. Ow! Don't pull me! Don't pull on my neck! She don't pull on my neck. Satoko really seemed like she was having fun. She looked like a kid who had grabbed her family's hand while running toward an amusement park attraction. God, okay. I just get distracted by this track so much. Like, they just need to put new music into this game so I don't get distracted by this single track. Ugh. I could turn it off, but then it's like, not the same. In the end, the bag of pork we attained was so normal that it almost hurt, but I knew that it would taste absolutely delicious. The cicadas had come out at some point. but the higurashi were singing in chorus. The air was so clear, and it felt so good. Our silhouettes stretching out on the ground made for a really wonderful picture. We had filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. They only contained ingredients and various other foodstuffs. Even so, every last thing packed in them sort of looked really happy, and made me feel really happy in return. Going shopping for dinner seems pretty sensible too. It makes you really